This is episode 204 of the Gold Squadron podcast. I'm your host, Dio Morales, and today I'm joined by Marcel. I have no idea what day it is, much less what we're talking about today. Manzano.
Yeah, so whatever you just said about you're excited about what we're talking about today, but you're like 6 steps ahead of me there. I guess I'll figure it out. I hope you can make it up on the fly. I'm just saying.
Literally, as I say Will and Ryan's name, you just look at the notes and you should be good. Will, gotta catch 'em all. Hagwood.
Ooh, brother, I'm coming for you tomorrow night.
And Ryan, windows open all the time. Staniszewski.
Well, this season, yes, because there's now actual weather that I can just not have heat on and just open up the windows. I'll savor this moment until it gets humid again, then I gotta turn the air on.
There you go. The short, beautiful window. Alrighty. Now, today's podcast is brought to you by our GSP patrons. Shout out, today is the last day to vote on the B-Wing pilot. I know the last time I took a look, 10 Nub had the lead in the Gold Squadron, Alphabet Squadron squad. So take a look at that. And tomorrow, which actually I will end up posting the poll probably just after the podcast, is the U-Wing vote. So U-Wing vote coming up. Find out who's going to end up being the U-Wing pilot for our Alphabet Squadron set that we're sending out to our Gold Squadron patrons. By the way, we are going to be posting tonight as well. I just unfortunately didn't get an opportunity to do it before the podcast. I've had a couple people come to me asking about, like, you know, what are my thoughts on like posting their GoFundMe on our Facebook or on our Discord and stuff like that. So I've been kind of figuring out how to tackle that, how to keep it organized. And I know that there's a lot of different opinions or whatever, but I figured it out. So what I've created on our Discord channel, which actually I'll go ahead and pull it up right now. It's empty at the moment, but I will let you guys see what is up. For those of you who are watching, and of course those of you who are listening, I'll explain what's going on here. I've created a new channel underneath our community section, okay, labeled Community Causes. Okay, Community Causes is the name, and the way this works is if you'd like something posted into the Community Causes section in our Discord, you send me a private message. I will essentially be the filter for it. I'll be honest, likely not everything will end up being put in here. It's going to have to be determined by myself whether I think it's appropriate to be put in there. But I'm just trying to find a way to give an outlet for that. If you want it out there, there is an opportunity. One of the things that's going to be posted is a GoFundMe for the family of Billy Evans, who we talked about last week, a X-Wing player who passed away. He was a police officer in Washington, D.C. who got hit by a car a couple weeks ago, and Jonathan Proctor, who was a longtime Gold Squadron community member, reached out to me and said, "Hey, we're doing a GoFundMe to basically create a trust for his kids." And I said, that's fantastic. And he basically is the one who inspired me trying to find a way to put that out there so it doesn't just get lost in general chat. And if you're looking for something like that, it's going to be all in one spot. So look out for that. If you're interested in helping that out, that'll be posted after the podcast. And I'll put a tag just kind of explaining how that works on our Discord. If you're not a part of it, !Discord, or click the link in the description down below to become part of our Discord community. Now, Marcel, do we have any Team USA updates? Give me the deets. What's happening?
Actually, we don't have any updates. We announced the team last week. I guess the not necessarily an update, but the only commentary I have is we did it first. So we announced the team, then Ali had to go and announce his team, and then we had to step it up and start doing video, self-deprecating video, and then other people. So So we're watching. When I say you guys had to step it up, you got to step it up. But stepping up doesn't mean copying. It means do your own thing.
Oh, okay.
Make it better.
Okay. All right.
That's a shot at the other captains out there. Get creative.
Love it. Love it. All righty. And, well, with that, we're going to be jumping into our discussion for today. So last week, if you listened to episode 203, we were talking about what is going to be, or what's going to be some of the potential impact of the Imperial box in Extended. So we're not going to be looking at the hyperspace legal content, but we're going to be taking a look at the new content from the box, from the new Squadron packs that are extended legal, but we're not hyperspace legal. And then just kind of talk through some of the ships that we haven't seen in a while, and maybe what are some things that we could potentially see that might combine from Squadron packs, or just, meta monsters that have been lying in wait for their opportunity to come out into the wild here. We're going to start with the Rebellion. Now, let me know if I'm wrong, guys. From the actual Squadron pack, the only new extended content in there is Hera B-Wing and Netrum Pollard, and I think maybe the B-Wing title? Maybe. Okay.
Yeah, the B-Wing title. Or the B-Wing title, maybe. I think, might actually be hyperspace. Let me look real quick. B-Wing title, it is hyperspace legal.
All right, cool. So Hera and Netrum Pollard. So we're going to go ahead and we'll start with Hera Syndulla in the B-Wing. Now, I think this might state some of the obvious. We know that Hera's also in the A-Wing. Now, Ryan, do we think we're going to see Hera B-Wing? What do you think?
No.
She has the same
Hera
ability as the A-Wing.
Hera A-Wing exists. We'll never see Hera B-Wing. People will try, maybe. But Hera A-Wing exists. Is faster, more maneuverable to get where she needs to go, to have her ability happen. Has boost, which is really good. Barrel roll is going to be wings too. Just has many more places Hera can get to. And Hera B-Wing probably has one solid passive attack. Hera A-Wing doesn't really need to attack at all during the entire game to make up her own points in most cases, but she can take a crack shot, a predator, or a procket, and that one turn probably have as much effect on the offensive output of the game as Hera B-Wing.
Yeah, I mean, Marcel or Will, you guys have anything additional there? I think that's pretty cut and dry.
Yeah, there's very few advantages to the B-Wing versus A-Wing.
By very few, he means there might be a scenario where they ban A-Wings and they're like, okay, B-Wing Hera.
Well, I mean, Hera can shoot twice. She can use her own mod with fire control system in the B-Wing before giving it to somebody else. But man, I don't want to fly a 60-point one agility ship that's not maneuverable. That's a bad time.
So essentially, in Extended, the only time we're going to end up seeing Hera in the B-Wing is if her price ends up going drastically down. Or, I know that we're talking about Extended today, if in Extended, Hera A-Wing was not hyperspace legal, would you see Hera B-Wing? For the utility of the ability.
Well, it would go up. Yeah, you'd see it far more often without the A-Wing.
Yeah, I think you would see it, but it brings a question like just talking about points. We're doing B-Wing 55, A-Wing 42. Even if they're the same points, you're still going with the A-Wing.
Yeah.
So does that mean that Hera is too low? I mean, A-Wing is too low, B-Wing is too high? Or are they both meeting somewhere in the middle, like 47, 48, 49?
That's what I was going to say. If you're saying if they were the same cost, I would probably take the A-Wing in most situations. But if you're telling me Hera B-Wing could be 42 points and Hera A-Wing could also be 42 points?
No, I'm saying where they're comparable. I don't think there's a situation where A-Wing is more expensive than B-Wing.
Sure.
But in this particular case, Hera, with same abilities, the A-Wing... If they're the same points, I'm still taking the A-Wing. It's just going to stay alive longer. It's going to support longer unless you have even if you have, it's very rare a situation that you might take the B-Wing over the A-Wing in this case.
Yeah, the A-Wing is much more harder to track down, and Hera's job is to stay alive.
So what I'm saying is just from a points perspective, there's a 13-point difference between the two, with the less good ship being, I'm not going to say bad ship because it's still good, the less good ship being 13 points higher. Like, what happened? Is 55 points the right thing, and A-Wing Hera just needs to shoot up 50 plus? Should they be like 49? And because I think if they're the same points, I would make a case for them being okay being the same number of points. Because
so then you're putting in the argument that, we talked about before, when a ship costs a certain number of points, are you paying for the chassis? Are you paying for the agility? Are you paying for the initiative? In Hera's case, I think we have to put a question. I think you're paying for that ability, right? So if those points go up, that's because you're saying that ability is so good that it needs to go up in cost. I mean, I think, Ryan, you had said it, I think, either last episode or the one before, that if you're building a Rebel list, most of the time, Hera is your starting point.
Yeah, definitely. I don't know where best I could spend 42 points anywhere else in the entire Rebel faction. Because, surprise, that's 42 points is close to one more point than generic B-Wing. That's not even close. And anything else around that point range, I mean, it's mostly just generic beefy-ish chassis. There's no Y-Wing I can give any amount of upgrades that I care about. Right. There's nothing.
And, going to my argument earlier of the idea of flipping Hera A-Wing into not being hyperspace legal and potentially this Hera B-Wing being hyperspace legal, there's a couple people saying, would Ten and Braylon just end up chosen over Hera? Possibly, if the point is you want offensive ships. I think I'm more questioning the use of the ability over the efficiency, attack efficiency of a chassis. But interesting
I think it
discussion.
Is definitely worth noting that Hera B-Wing would need to invest 2 more points to acquire an evade token on her, whereas the A-Wing has it naturally. Mm-hmm. So the advantage of Hera A-Wing also being able to just take an evade action and then pass that along, whereas the B-Wing naturally can only provide the lock and the focus. Mm-hmm. So, and on top of obviously paying for the chassis, you want to invest in actually pointing it and doing damage to something. So I think there's an argument that Hera B-Wing could go down, but there's probably a higher argument that Hera A-Wing needs to go up.
There you go. So yeah, the points discussion on the B-Wing and the A-Wing for Hera they're going to be linked forever. Like, it's where's the value? There has to be, I think, some special sauce that comes out for the B-Wing exclusively, or that somehow cannot go on an A-Wing, that is really going to take Hera B-Wing and make it a consideration. But that's a discussion for a whole nother day, what that could be. Let's move on here to our second ship, and this is Netrum Pollard. Now, Will, I'm going to throw this to you. I mentioned Ten and Braylon. If you got Ten and Braylon, are you bringing Netrum Pollard?
Yeah, the difference of Netrum Pollard's 46 points, 10 Nub is 48. Call him 50 with the title or configuration or whatever. I guess there is 2 different things now. So with the configuration, he's 4 more points. Man, I'm spending those 4 points to get double modded shots on 10. Even Braylon's then just 6 more points. And I essentially, you're bringing the B-Wing to attack. And that's what you should invest your points into, is to make sure that three dice gun hits when it can. So I think he is fun. His time on target, especially with advanced sensors, is a bit bananas. But beyond that, like, he's shooting a bunch of unmodified shots. So, and his I3.
And by being range 0, you can't barrel roll range 0. So basically,
well, you can.
Well, the way I'm reading it, maybe you can, but the way I'm reading it is you can barrel roll, choose yourself. You give yourself the stress, and then you can still basically turn 180 at any time after barrel rolling. You don't need to be at range. Like it's a self.
Yeah, you can't just happen. You can just happen to give it off. The reason you can give it off is that you could do the linked action, barrel roll linked, or
barrel roll, pass it off,
focused.
barrel roll, turn, pass off the token, then focus, get the second stress for yourself.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly. And that's why they would let you do it range one. But if you have advanced sensors, which now are more expensive, we're more expensive than Hera B-Wing. But you can barrel roll and then 180, stress yourself, and then 3 forward, 1 bank. And you can do that every round, which is pretty crazy. It's like the weirdest Talon roll there is. But when you barrel roll 180 or 3 forward, wow.
So you're ending up over there.
Yeah, you did like a -2 K turn, which doesn't make any sense. I don't know how you got behind you. So he is interesting, but like, man, not the thing I'm trying to invest in B-Wings.
Yeah, I think, honestly, when it comes to the B-Wing chassis, the problem is that 10 and Braylon are too good. Right?
Yeah, fact.
They're the same initiative, so they move together really, really well. They are both easily capable of double modified shots, and offense is usually what wins this game, right? It's being consistent offense, and they have that. So B-Wings right now, essentially, if you're not named 10 and Braylon, I don't know if you're getting played unless you are bringing a B-Wing squad, and then you that's a self what's the word that's a self restriction, right? Nobody's making you do that. But if everything's open,
I thought you were about to say self-inflicted wound, but that's okay.
I mean, yeah, that is a good, yes, self-inflicted wound.
I will
that's
say,
great.
I am a big fan of B-Wings, so I would one day, and I probably have done in the past, I would fly a full B-Wing squad just for fun.
There you go. I like it. Okay, well, now let's talk about some of the chassis that we haven't taken a look at in a while for the Rebellion. We'll go ahead and just kind of run through this. And the questions I want to focus on, I made this sub to Gold Squadron, said it's a self-hatred thing. Yeah, I mean, it happens. What I want to focus on is what are some of the pilots we think that we have to watch out for, and maybe potentially with the content from the Squadron pack, which essentially the other things that can be used is hopeful. I think is the only thing that can be kind of put around here, which our opinion is that unfortunately hopeful wasn't great. But anyway, what are some of the things that we should look out for that chassis? Marcel, we'll start with you. Arc 170 in the Rebellion. Anything we got to watch out for?
Nora. I think Nora definitely I-5, high initiative. That free evade at range 1 is it's much better than just having a 2 agility ship. It's guaranteed every time. So I think definitely that would be the number 1. Just getting Hera in there. You talked about offense wins games. Throw Nora in there, and then you got Ahsoka, you got other ways to coordinate. You've got, so even if you end up just keeping her in there bumped, you'll probably get a mod somehow. So yeah, she's the one.
All right. Ryan, what about the attack shuttle? The Ghost attack shuttle?
So the attack shuttle, double checking here. If I change to, okay, it was 100%. I thought maybe there was one attack shuttles in there. So, I mean, cheap 3 dice attack, Zeb, 32 points. You can slot it into some type of swarm that exists. That's solid. Cheap way to get 3 attack dice. The only other cheap way to get that right now is Lieutenant Blount, C95, which we'll probably get to later. Hera and Ezra really haven't seen much play at all in the past. And Hera in an attack shuttle is not Hera in an A-wing, therefore won't exist. So four less points doesn't seem like it's that big. It's a much bigger difference than 4 for that.
Yep.
Ezra brings 3 attack dice for 8 more points for 1 force. Not terrible if you're just looking for passive mods. And then I think the last one is Sabine. Sabine's ability is great. We saw a little bit of Sabine very, very early in X-Wing 2.0. Hasn't really seen much since then. There's just either better options out there. There's things above I3. But if you expect the I3 sort of amount of lists that we've seen in the most recent history, she may be worth it. That's supernatural reflex. If you move after, we saw the strikers do what they did just with the ailerons. Imagine if you have that for an actual boost action, which ailerons in that case is actually better because you can do it as a bump maneuver, but you do have the barrel option too. Still 41 points for that, which is more than a base X-Wing right now, so you really have to lean into her ability to make it well worth it.
All right. Will, what about the K-Wing?
Ooh, how is it gonna pair with the new? We'll call them A-wings. And I was double checking a siege to Ketsu, or close enough.
It's Siki to Ketu.
A Ketu, yes. To see if it actually how it interacts with Hera in an A-wing or B-wing, and essentially doesn't. So a siege is just basically not Hera. Close, very close, but not Hera. So gonna see that probably sidelined for the time being. I definitely think we've seen. What was it, Matthew Carey? Matthew Carey basically brought like a couple A-wings and then some heavy hitters. I think it could be an option to swap out one of those for a 4K-wing if you're looking for that. Obviously, they like Hera and Jake flying around, especially Miranda, which is the same initiative as Jake. So we could see some synergy there, but not normally. What do I say? Not normally flown in formation, except with other K-wings. So I doubt we'll see much appearance of them in any new ways.
Yeah, I mean that's the Rebel bombing platform, right? Most of the time. One thing we did see a little bit late in the Galaxies is people trying to spam Y-wings with bombs, but Wardens usually, I mean, I know early on in second edition, there was a lot of people flying 4K wings with just loaded out with bombs. Maybe we'll see some of that again. I know I find the K-wing spam is usually people like, I love K-wings, so I'm just gonna bring it. And who knows, now with thermal detonators and K-wings, we might see some shenanigans there because you got a cheap bomb. You got a cheap bomb. Now, Z95 is the next one we're going to hit here. And you already said it, Ryan. Lieutenant Blount is likely going to be the most common ship out there if we're going to see it. I think one of the interesting side effects, though, is we're going to keep coming back to these Rebel A-Wings, is the abilities on the Rebel A-Wings are so good, even at the lower initiatives, that you might start, you know, if you want this third attack die that Blount could potentially give you. By the way, his ability, for those of you who don't remember, while you perform a primary attack, if there is at least one other friendly ship at range 0 to 1 of the defender, you may roll one additional attack die. You have some interesting choices, right, in squad building. As for the other Z95s, what do we have out there right now? Let me just go take a peek. So we have.
Didn't we see Matt Newt in one of the earlier flight clubs take 2 Tracer Z95s and 4 Cavern Angels X-Wings? We could see that resurface for sure.
Yes, exactly, and that's where I was going next. Here is it's a cheap missile carrier, which ends up becoming essentially a tracer missile carrier. But the initiative has to work, right? These are low initiative. They're initiative 2. So if you're trying to do that swarmy thing. Now, here's an interesting argument. A question for you guys. You know, a lot of times when we have a tracer missile, we like to think about it as we want it to be the first thing to shoot so that our ships can get target locks and we have a fully modified attack going into that engagement. Is there an argument to bring tracers at a lower initiative, at the lowest initiative, we'll take it to the extreme, that you have? That way tokens are cleared and it's more likely to hit? Or is that not worth it? What do you guys think?
No, not worth it. No
I'm
way.
not going to say not worth it. It's getting free locks is always worth it. It's just better to do it ahead of time. Because even in a situation where, for example, you have everything that's the same initiative. Let's say you're flying V1s, like 6 of them. Mm-hmm. There's still benefit in shooting your first tracer, then getting all your prockets off, and keeping the last one till the end so that you can start setting up the next round. And next round, you don't have to worry about it. So there's a benefit there. And in a situation, like you said, like they probably got rid of the tokens, you know, Fen Rao jumped in range 1, tanked everything, used its token to get it. Now, by putting, you know, a number of target locks on Fen Rao, you're basically getting Fen Rao out of there. Like, okay, Fen Rao's not going to stay range 1. Like, Fen Rao's hitting the road, and it's going to try to think of a way to come back because it's probably not going to want to stay in that knife fight anymore. So there's a benefit because it's cheap. It's 2 points. Mm-hmm. But if you're flying the Tracer X Z95s, you might just bump it up to the I3s and get Hopeful in there. That would be like a 28 point Hopeful. That way, if you bump, you still get your focus token if somebody dies, or if somebody dies, you can do a boost that the Z95s typically can't do. Like, that's probably the only way. I'm trying to sneak Hopeful in there somewhere, but that's probably the only way you can get Hopeful in there. All right. In a meaningful way.
And yeah, and I hope you guys know, like, for our audience, sometimes I ask these questions sometimes so that we can explore different pockets, right? I don't always believe everything that I ask, just so you guys know. You know, sometimes people are like, yo, why would you say that? Like, come on, we're exploring the space. All right, let's jump into Ozatux, Ryan.
Well, we do know the Ozatux had a track record in prior events. We have the base Kashyyyk Defender, who we can't do. What is it? The 4 doesn't leave a lot left anymore. Like, elite. Well, I guess one thing to note. You can do 4 Ozatux, and instead of AP5, you can get a Bandit with Tracers. Just give the 180 some target locks. You never know.
On a platform that doesn't have a target lock action.
Correct. But also, one that was emerging before we headed into hyperspace land, we had the super angry Wolfaru. We saw, I think it won the Polish nationals and started to crop up in other things. The trick is, or your general composition of the list is Wolfaru, Dutch, Jake, and Janors. Dutch specifically carrying concussion bombs. So you bomb Wolfaru turn 1 to take a damage card under the shields. And then from there, Jan powers up the shot with the dice. Dutch passes a lock. Jake passes a focus. And Wolfaru shooting angry, really angry. Like, I'm 5. Would it be
6.
3 normally plus 2 up. So I'm 5 base because I've gone up with my ability and up with Jan, and I'm 6 at range 1, and that's target lock focused. And that still leaves room for, you have multi-crow on Jan, you have at least a dorsal on Dutch, and an ion torpedo on Dutch as well. So you have other firepower. It's not all in Wolfaru. And Wolfaru, depending on how you build the list, might actually be the most expensive ship. I don't think it's the right thing for him to be, or definitely, in my opinion, I don't like Dutch being the most expensive, but it's between Wolf and Jan that ended up being the more expensive of the 2 ships. And we already know
it was,
Jan can provide pretty good attack with already saved up focuses.
So Ryan, I was rebuilding that list to put in Hera, and all you had to do is just only bring a dorsal turret with the concussion bombs, and you still can get Moldy Crow in there.
Does that replace does Hera go in instead of Jake, basically?
Yeah.
Seems like a pretty good idea, too.
Yeah.
Watch out. Oh, man.
Here's a good question.
Okay.
All right, so Dutch. I would say Dutch has to perform the target lock action. I was wondering if Dutch's ability linked off of acquiring Hera's lock. It does not. I assume not. No. I was just making sure.
But you could just give it to Hera and then just wait around in case Wolfaro needs it.
Mm-hmm.
In case maybe Jan needed it instead.
Could do that,
I guess she shoots first, so you wouldn't know if Wolfaro needed it. But extra synergy.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's keep exploring here. Let's move on to the E-Wings, Will.
All right, E-Wings. Let's see. So most of the time we just see the rogues. We've seen a lot of them in like a Alpha Strike style. I can't pull them up right now because I was in Scum. Anyways, they do have boost, so they can keep up with the A-Wings. They really don't need the support of Hera or like Jake or somebody. I mean, Jake's nice with them, but I'm not sure the new cards would increase their value as much. Maybe, can you do like a triple ace with like Corin, Luke, Hera? Yeah, that would actually shake out pretty good points wise. I know, Marcel, you're running Corin, Luke, and AP 5.
No, Corin Wedge.
Corin Wedge. Mm-hmm. Oh, well, yeah, like 42 points at that point. Like, you lose out on the Leia, sure, but
yeah, Corin is actually not such a bad idea. I was playing against somebody, I forgot who they were, so sorry if you're listening, but somebody that was flying Hera, Ahsoka, and Corin.
Okay.
And Corin had R2D2. And that Corin was actually near impossible to kill because it was always, and it had everything. It was like a fully loaded double shooting, regenerating, throwing torpedoes. I mean, it had the full gamut. And then I think the other guys had, some missiles or some to like add a little bit of extra oomph. But definitely the biggest downside to the E-Wings is that they run out of tokens. That's why they're not, that's why defenders are defenders. With a similar stat line, the E-Wings are E-Wings because they run out of tokens. But with either a coordinator or somebody like Hera around to make up for that downside, all of a sudden your E-Wing feels a lot like a defender, and it feels very indestructible. And then you throw regen on top of that, those E-Wings become pretty mean. And if you've got 80, 90 points into an E-Wing that's never going to die, it's a little bit of a nuisance.
Okay. All right. And I guess, we've complained a lot about the fact that the E-Wing normally is rough when you want to play Corin or Gavin because you don't have the reposition into focus when you're able to pick up that lock outside of range 3. But now with Hera being like, you do have a focus. Turns out you do. We might end up seeing Corin make a comeback. He's initiative 5. He's at a competitive initiative. He can carry torpedoes. He packs a punch. He can shoot twice. And if he's backed up by Hera, I think there's a chance we see him back. I really do.
Yeah, I was doing a quick list building on that. And Corin, Hera, Wedge, and Jake still fits with 8 points left for whatever fire control system, R3. You could squeeze healing on there if you wanted to, but lose out on the bid. That sounds like a mean list. I don't know.
Wait,
Why are messing with that?
Was that A-wing wedge?
No,
or-
that's X-wing wedge, actually.
That's Papa wedge.
Yeah, that's
not bad.
old wedge.
6'5" and a free focus to people.
I mean, Jake doesn't care. He's just following her around, trying to give her a focus.
Free focuses to whoever needs it. Yeah, wedge.
Not bad.
I would probably drop one of them and just make wedge and
Oh yeah, but
Orin really punch.
but you don't get those Leia K turns though, so your time on target's not gonna be as good to invest them points.
Who needs K turns when
Yeah,
Hera's
Hera.
gonna cost you a token anyway?
I guess that's true. One lock could really change the game there. Interesting. I think we'll see a lot more. I keep going back to Matthew Carey's list of Luke, and then the 2 high initiative A-wings, and then a filler. I don't know if the blue Squadron X-wing is exactly filler, but I think that's the kind of base archetype we're going to see a lot more exploration in.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, Corin, I'm watching you. He's coming. He's coming, man. All right, let's jump into it now. Hawks for Rebels is a ship we haven't seen in a while. Wasn't hyperspace legal. Now we've already mentioned Jan Ors, right? Being able to add additional attack die. Marcel, are there anything else in the Rebel Hawks that's got you excited that you think might make a splash here for the Rebellion?
All of them except the generic, to be quite honest. They all have something. They all bring something cool to the table. So Kyle Katarn, at the start of the engagement phase, you may transfer one of your focus tokens to a friendly ship in your firing arc. Perfect way to always make sure that Hera has a focus and an evade. Hera evades. You throw Hera a focus, and now you've got both a focus and an evade available for the rest of your squad. So it's a way to it's kind of a force multiplier that you're taking the Hawks, you're taking Kyle Katarn's ability, and now you're converting that ability. One, you're extending the range, and then you're also converting that ability to whenever Hera believes it's good for anybody to have it. Now you've got more perfect information when you're doing that. So I think Kyle Katarn, just by the introduction of Hera, jumped up in value by a lot. And then the other one is Rourke, which is at the start of the engagement phase, you may choose one ship in your fire rank. If you do, it engages at initiative 7 instead of standard initiative. Basically, it is the anti Torkel Mux. And that's, again, being the anti Torkel Mux, that's basically one of your ships is about to die. You don't have the Warthog. You don't have Torkel Mux. You don't have Nash. You have Rourke, who is going to bump that shit up and make ship up. Nobody heard. Edit.
Just keep going. Nobody said anything.
I heard it in my head. Anyway, if your ship's going to die, bring it up to initiative 7, and then we're all golden. I blame Darren Granger for that one. It's all his fault. He taught me bad things. Anyway, so I think all of these are good. Jan Ors by far is the best, followed by Kyle Katarn. But Rourke is always good. It's always good to shoot at initiative 7. You know, alpha kill or initiative kill and I6. Oh yeah.
All right. Generic A-Wings is the next one on our list. Do they have a place? They can carry tracers.
They can carry hopeful.
They can carry hopeful. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
Will, you want to talk about the thing that we were looking at a few days ago?
Yeah, I put 6 hopeful Phoenix squadrons with missiles on the board, and I was wowed by their performance. With the vectored cannons and missiles, you get the rear arc and the front arc. Obviously, I'm rocking some tracers. And you got like a random smattering of points, but ion cluster, concussion, pretty much whatever you need there. But just like discipline on sensitive controls interceptors, if you're rocking hopeful, you need to be rocking the vectored cannons because you don't want to be stressed in the engagement phase. But this lends itself to some pretty interesting tactics. You can just all run up and just target lock, like boost 5 forward target lock, and like just wait for them to kill one of them, I guess, and then you all focus.
Kill us, I dare you.
Yeah, just go send your cheapest one in. Just be like, kill that guy. Go for the block. See what happens. But really, though, their time on target, I've actually really come to like the vectored cannons. I know high initiative boost is one thing, but high initiative boosting turrets is a different thing. Well, I guess these Phoenix aren't high initiative. But I think that the Phoenix Squadron might be one of the best places for hopeful. It's not the cheapest, because I guess the Talas are cheaper for the hopeful, but with their that's 12 arcs you have to mess around with, and they have no penalty for boosting in the system phase because they're I1. They're essentially going to move right afterwards. So I think and we've seen match 3 agility ships, right? Barons have been doing it. Mm-hmm. Sikhs have been doing it, right? Now, right. But none of those had turrets, it turns out. So now, but you do lose on the initiative, so you gotta factor that in.
On generics?
A hopeful, 32 with a missile, hopeful, and a cannon.
That's specifically thread tracer, if you're going with that.
Well, thread tracers are ion missiles.
Yeah.
So you end up with 8 extra points in that list for whatever kind of missile you would prefer, I guess. Probably at least 1 concussion. Like, have somebody doing long range damage.
They can do mag balls, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. Isn't that what we're...
Yeah, that was the other variation. Like, so after you showed me your list you tried out, what you specifically mentioned was you liked the threat of the missile out the front, even while the arc was pointed to the back in some necessary situations. And right now, the only 2 missiles in the game that have a range 1 to 3 are thread tracers and mag pulse. So you can actually do 6 vectored cannon Phoenix squadrons, 2 of them with tracers, and the other 4 with all mag pulse.
And mag
but you don't
pulse
get the hopeful in there?
No.
Oh man, I think
you're going in for the missiles on that one, not the hopeful part.
Yeah, that's true, I guess. But the hopeful is what makes the missile sing, though. So when you do reach for that target lock, get a little greedy, you can double modify it. Because hopefully somebody kills you by the time it gets down to I1. Well, not you specifically. Hopefully it's somebody else in your team.
It's weird to specifically say you're a rebel player. I hope he kills my friend so I can be more hopeful.
Yeah. Yeah, you got it, man. Go in there, boost, do your boost so I could do it in the combat. But with there's just not really a good place for hopeful, except for I think the vectored cannon Phoenix Squadron pilot. So if we do see generic A-Wings, it was going to be this. I guess you could, let me bounce it to you then.
All right.
Build 6 cannoned green squadrons. Everyone out there like, initiative 1? Nobody wants to be initiative 1. Well, how about you be green squadron? I know, Ryan, because like, you want to be really cool if you're really fast and can block and I1. But say you want to be I3. You still get 14 points on the green squadrons. Granted, one should be hobby because they're literally the same price.
Yeah.
Put hobby in there. That's Derek with a thread tracer. Wow, you still got 12 more points. I'm going to just give you the other thread tracer there. So you got 10 more points after all those green squadrons.
I think that's the wrong choice, though. I can't just thinking about those initiative ones, but I mean, if you have to, do I have to?
Do you think you would prefer the initiative ones with missiles than
I do.
Derek and the greens?
The blocking is too valuable, man. It's too good.
Man, what you can do with that boost and 5 forward?
I'm telling you, vectored cannons, man. Don't sleep on them. That initiative one, they'll get you.
Yeah, for sure. And then had a question in the chat. Does Mag Pulse works better with higher initiative, right, for the deplete? While in that initial engagement turn, yes. But man, if you stack like 3 or 4 deplete on one ship, they're sad for like at least 2 to 3 turns.
Mm-hmm. And if that's their like heavy hitter, if it's something like a Ray in the Falcon or like Crazy Wolf Waro, like
just take one less dice for like at least 2 turns at minimum. Because even if you do, because then so it's at the end of engagement, so you have say 4 at the worst, right?
Right.
And now you have to do a blue. So you say, all right, I'm going to do a blue, and then you're going to shoot. Okay, that's 2 gone. You still have 2 left, so you got to do another blue and then shoot again on the other turn to get rid of it. But that's like 2 blues. I'm kind of feeling you're out of the fight unless you're Boba or a fire spray. But if it's Boba, it's like I'm in for depleting Boba 4 times. I'm so in.
Make you sad. All right, let's keep it going here. I think we kind of all shared the generic A-wings there. Let's jump. Ryan, AP5 and Fen Rao in the Sheetapede. They've been on lockdown for a while. Let's start with Fen Rao. It's too expensive. People aren't going to play it, right?
Probably not, because Fen Rao, one of the most valuable parts of Fen Rao is he has the coordinate action at I6.
Right.
But what if you had Hera? Better than coordinate. Neat. Solved. Already done.
Yep.
Fen Rao's ability. Before a ship in your firing arc. So if people don't remember, before an enemy ship in your firing arc, front or back, because it has back arc, engages, if you are not stressed, you may gain a stress. If you do, that ship cannot spend tokens to modify dice while it performs an attack during this phase. Kind of actually counter to Hera a little bit. Granted, he can only do it once to one ship, and Hera can just throw her token to a different ship.
Yep.
But you generally can find the most valuable attack coming against you for that to matter. But if that ability was so powerful before, it already existed long before Hera, I don't think it's really going to push you over the edge anyway now that Hera exists. Hera, if anything, is more flexible, meaning she can adjust where you need to help her friends. Among a plethora of other things that have come out in the game since Fen Rao has existed. Now, AP5, on the other hand, always been a valuable ship for low cost. Its coordinate is actually extremely good because it could still be a stressed ship. That choose a ship with exactly 1 stress, can't have more than 1, and it can still perform actions from the coordinate.
I know Marcel's a big fan of AP5. Marcel's running around with that AP5 flag out there.
So I AP5 at 32 points already is really good, and in a lot a lists, people
and
make
a crew carrier.
That's what I'm saying. Well, that's the thing.
Cheap
AP5
crew carrying.
Cheap crew carrier, and a lot of people make room for Leia crew. Even K2SO. Yeah, I was praising the bot bus really early on when K2SO crew came out. And we haven't seen it in a while because we've been in hyperspace.
You get K2SO and Hopeful, another good Hopeful carrier. So you get.
Imagine throw a calculate to Hera from K2SO on AP5. Sure, hold another token.
Wait, does that work? Does she work on? I didn't think she worked on reinforcing calculates.
Oh, is it specifically focus evade and locks?
It does say focus evade
Focus
and lock.
evade
Yeah.
and
All right,
locks.
ignore me.
Ooh.
We're a little more safe. Just a little.
Oh man, man,
Just a little.
Hera handing out reinforces would be a bit much.
I have no idea how she would get it. Besides
Angle
just,
deflectors.
okay.
There's an upgrade for that.
I know it exists. Makes my ship actively worse.
But I get a cool token, okay?
Yeah,
I get a
sure.
cool token.
I mean, I guess there probably would be some crazy bad combination that could occur. There's enough ships in the entire Rebel faction that if Hera could take angle deflectors for 1 less health and just take the reinforce action and then throw it to someone else. I've already gone down the tangent in my brain. If you throw the reinforce at him, does it have to stay on the aft or backside? Do you get to flip it? You get to choose and not a problem. We're not even concerned.
Not a
about it.
problem. Not today. Not a problem
Not today. No, never. Let's go with never. So yeah, AP5 is good. I think we'll see him. We've seen him both in lists that Marcel loves to bring in those alpha strikes for the cheap crew carrier. We've also seen AP5 in those Rebels 5 to 6 ship swarms to give that coordinate for some extra actions for those generics or low cost name pilots, which there are plenty of A-Wings of now.
Alrighty, and let's move on to the YT-2400. Marcel, Dash, Lebo, the Wild Space Fringer. We're going to see any of that out there?
I think Dash, you definitely will. I mean, towards the end of turns and Nantex time, and then at some point when all those M3As were around, you were starting to see Dash a lot more. Just the ability to kind of circle the rocks and pop those 3 agility, really tough to kill ships. So I think it's definitely still there. And now with Hera being able, because before you had to figure out like how are you going to get this ship multiple mods. You throw Perceptive Copilot on there. What's the name of the crew? The gunner, I meant, not the crew.
Bistan.
Bistan, the one that allows you to shoot twice. So now you can throw Ahsoka as a good ship to fly with it. Both Initiative 5. Jake has always been a good ship to fly with it. Hera obviously is gold because now you don't have to worry as much. You can use your barrel roll if you need to use your barrel roll. You can even use your barrel roll into like you can do other things and you'll still have your focus. One of the things that will not happen is with Hera's ability is you can't do the Bistan thing because you can only do one or the other. But if for whatever reason you bump, you shoot, you can throw the Bistan. You could throw the token on there to trigger Bistan. If you end up, so you don't have to. So you can, if you only have one focus for whatever reason, you can shoot, and then decide whether you want to hold it to use Bistan, or if you want to spend it, then Hera can go ahead and throw it. The other ones, it's only the Wild Spacer. The Wild Spacer's never really been pretty good. Lebo, I've tried really hard to get Lebo to work because just the idea of having kind of that infinite calculate sounds good, but it sounds good, but it just doesn't quite work. And Bistan doesn't. Does Bistan allows you? Mm-hmm. No, he can't use Bistan because Lebo doesn't focus.
Oh man,
he only calculates.
Except if there was somebody in Rebels who could give you a focus.
Who would give you a focus action?
Man, no, just a focus token. If he could just be range 2 of a ship, and they could just give you a focus token they had.
So that is how many points cheaper? It's two initiative lower.
Lebo is 76.
Yes,
and Dash is
yeah, so I mean, you can do it. You can do it with Kyle Katarn. You can throw it on there. You won't be able to do the whole like Perceptive Copilot thing, but then again, that's kind of saving you some points as well. So you're throwing in there Bistan with either Hera to throw that focus token over there, and then that allows you to spend the token and still have you can defend with the calculates as often as they shoot you. And when it comes time to shoot, you can spend your calculate once, and then not you get it back, but then you still get the focus token to do the Biston, or you can use Kyle Katarn. I don't know. There's a couple ways. There's coordinators. I just think you lose too much. I think the 9 points to get initiative 5 with dash is worth it. So Levo is interesting, just not interesting enough.
Not interesting enough. All right. Now, next one we gotta hit. We gotta hit the TIE LN, the Rebel TIE Fighter. You're not gonna see it. Period. End of story. It's just bad. Captain Rex would be the best one, but it still isn't great. I would say, I don't want to say completely ignore it. Like, you should know, if you're really worried about it, you want to be 100% prepared, you can go ahead and read the abilities on your own time. But the reality is, for the cost, there's better A-Wings and Z95s for that. The Rebel TIE Fighter sits in a very strange place. Next, let's go ahead and hit up the U-Wing. U-Wing is a ship that we haven't really seen much of, which I was honestly a little bit surprised that it wasn't hyperspace legal when they announced it, because of we did have the Saw's Renegade pack at the end, but I guess the Reaper also wasn't hyperspace legal. But anyway, the U-Wing, I mean, there's a lot of tricks here, and let's go immediately probably to the two that come to mind. I'll start with Cassian Andor. Cassian Andor is a fantastic enabler. At the start of the activation phase, you may choose one friendly ship at range 1 to 3. If you do, that ship removes 1 stress token. Flexible stress control is fantastic. Really early on, we saw Cassian with double B-Wings. Now, I mean, I'm not sure off the top of my head. I'm not sure exactly where you would want to go, but I mean, if you don't want to pay for Leia as well, though some people played Cassian and Leia together, like that was something that happened.
That was my System Open top 4.
Yep.
It was Cassian, Leia, and then the two. That was before they shot up in points. They used to be cheaper.
Yeah, exactly. So he's currently at 51 points. Watch out if you're looking for named U-Wings to see some shenanigans from. Cassian is going to be fantastic. K2SO, it's efficient, right? It coordinates people, and then its ability ends up triggering. After you gain a stress token, gain 1 calculate token. So you can still have a mod and helping out your squad for 46 points at initiative 3. But I think the biggest threat out there that you got to watch out for is the low initiative Blue Squadron scouts and or partisans coming in mass. 4 U-Wings is a list that we at the very end of the extended meta, we didn't see it very much, but it is very much an archetype that is good. They have those 180 degree or 90 degree turns, and they have enough beef and enough control where if you can get locked in a box and you get blocked, you could have 3 U-Wings turning at you, and they have enough crew slots and points left over, being at 43 points, that you could fill in some interesting crew. You could end up taking something like a Jyn Erso if you want to passive aids around there. I mean, my brain, again, we've been saying Hera's name all over the place, but maybe the call is better. 3 U-Wings and Hera might just end up being better to make your U-Wings more survivable. But yeah, like the U-Wings, you got to watch out for them. They have a lot of flexibility, and the fact that they can carry a lot of crew, and Rebel crew is good. There's good options in there. You just gotta watch out for that. Are there other options? Yes, there's other ones. Any other notable U-Wings guys that you want to mention before we move on?
Bentheo.
Yeah, 2 tubes.
Because again, right now with Hera around and just the whole thing about passing tokens around, Garvin, Kyle Katarn, Jake. 2 tubes becomes one of them. After you perform a focus action, you may transfer one of your focus tokens to a friendly ship at range 1 or 2. So you're just transferring the token. You're not necessarily making them take a focus action. So if paired with Kyle Katarn or paired with Hera, you're just basically taking the focus token that Benthic has, and once again you're extending the use of it, because Benthic comes in at activation phase. You have to make that choice of who gets the token at activation phase. Kyle Katarn makes that choice at the start of engagement, and to take it a step further, Hera makes that choice after dice are rolled, and you know what you need. You need to know who gets it. So it amplifies that. To add on top of that, just throw Perceptive Copilot on there. Then you keep your focus token, and then you give an extra one away. Beefy 8 health to agility ships are good. So there's I remember there was a time that there were people flying 4 different named U-wings, and they were doing pretty well because they're big, beefy ships that have a lot of synergy together, where if one is damaged, they all get rerolls. They can't do multiple rerolls against you, or they can only roll one die against you, etc., etc., etc. So these are better ships than I think people give them credit for.
So actually, speaking of the pilot that limits enemy rerolls, Magva Yarrow, while a friendly ship at range 0-2 defends, the attacker cannot reroll more than 1 attack dice. So statistically, it's not too often ships attacking need to reroll more than 1, whether spending a lock, or obviously there's plenty of abilities around there that only allow you to reroll 1. But with the predominance of tracers and FTC, false transponder codes, these prockets being backed up by tracers, Hera passing locks to people, is Magva Yarrow worth the 50 to mitigate some of that on a consistent basis throughout a single event, or no? Because we a lot of people thought early on she'd be potentially worth it, but as I said, statistically, only 1 reroll is what's most commonly necessary.
Let's have all of the other partisans do have access to false transponder codes as well, so you can kind of double down on that. If they're all like, well, if Magma's there, we just won't target lock, we'll just all focus. And you're like, well, what if I just jammed you instead? So I think we could see Magva. She's always been a part of the kind of like Biggs, old school kind of super defensive squads. They just couldn't really do meaningful damage on. So we might see a return of that, possible.
All right. Well, that's and then speaking of the Cavern Angels, also the Cavern Angel X-wings, which we haven't talked about, are also hyperspace legal. There's a bunch of them. There's a bunch of them. We got Colby Sperato, we got Levin Tenza, Adrio Two Tubes, and the Cavern Angel Zealot. I know my eye is personally on that Cavern Angel Zealot. Like we mentioned, it does have that that listen slot, and that equals false transponder codes if you want it on the X-Wing platform. Seems pretty solid. Now, you know, boys, I think I want to change up the plan here a little bit, because it's already 9:42. And I'd like to get to that last question. Let's go ahead. Let's push Scum. Let's push Scum to next week, because there's so many ships there. We'll end up being here for a whole nother hour and a half. Okay. But you know, that's our rebellion discussion there. Watch out extended. Again, there's a lot of ships that we have not seen for a long time, and I'm really curious as we roll into XTC, as we roll into you know, the Premier League, as we roll into the Galactic Championships. You know, I think there's going to definitely be some meta shifting that happens, because we got some interesting dynamics going on. We've been focused on hyperspace for a really long time. we actually have a good number of players who actually joined, we're going to say our mid-pandemic and are starting to become more competent and confident players who've been in the hyperspace realm and are now moving into extended potentially for the first time. We got new list building potential, people who just haven't looked at those things before. We also they might get surprised by some of the ships and combos that we haven't seen. But yeah, like there's a lot there. Did we miss a ship? I don't think. May have. Did we cover them all? I'm panicking now.
I think we got everything. Someone said you missed something?
I mean, the Falcons are not
I guess
hyperspace.
the generic Falcon.
I mean, this is what you asked. What did you miss? And that's
The VCX.
Generic VCX. Or wait, is Chopper VCX in hyperspace, or is that one of the only named ones that's out?
That's the only name one that's out. 2 jams, too strong.
All right. Also, oh no.
So we got a majority of it. All right, cool. So yeah, those are the rebels. We'll see what we end up seeing. Now, I wanna jump into this question of the week because it is so fantastic, and I think this is going to be a fun segment here. The question was posted in our Discord. By the way, if you have questions or lists that you guys want us to look at, submit them in our Discord channel. The question was submitted by Pisceathus, and the question was, if X-Wing was releasing a card after you, so the Will Hagewood, Marcel Manzano, Ryan Staniszewski, the Dion Morales card, first, would it be a pilot, crew, or gunner? And then what is your ability? All right. Ryan, I'll have you go first.
Oh, I'm going first. I like my droids. Can I be a tactical relay?
Fine. Yes, you could be a tactical relay. We'll break the question for you. Go ahead. You're a tactical relay. Beep boop beep boop. Ryan only goes beep boop beep boop.
All right. Beep boop beep boop. Droids must get the job done at all costs. Kamikaze if necessary. Built-in feedback array, basically. When a friendly ship at range 0 to 3 with a networked ship ability would engage, it may spend a calculate token to take a damage and a disarm token. If it does, it may choose an enemy ship at range 0 and deal 1 damage to it. No idea how many points it would cost. Devs will figure that out.
That's right. Yeah, not my problem.
So what kind of inspired me to it, because I was trying to think, like, all right, what is some cool, like, calculating chaining effects or something, and I'm like, you know what, like I rewatched a lot of the recent 2D animated Clone Wars series, and if you remember, like, they had just the sheer quantity of ships that they have in those battles is insane. Like, there's just a ton of ships everywhere. They're flying against each other. I don't know how any of them don't just straight crash into each other. And I'm like, well, the droids have so many ships that you figure someone's got to think, well, we just straight have more bodies. If we just crash into them the entire time, they're just going to run out before we will. So we're just going for sheer self-destruct. Like, we're here to make sure they die. We will not shoot if it means we could just ram right into them.
All right. I like that.
Technically, how it would probably work is I move, I build a wall, and I say you try and get past the wall, and then you run into stuff. And if I have a calculate left, so that's the other thing. You have to have a calculate left. You take a damage, and you take a disarm, so you're not shooting. Which, I mean, if the primary target's the one that's blocked, like, sure, I'll do a free damage to it on myself if it means I do damage to them. So, feedback array, the tactical relay is me.
I like that. I like it. I think if I were to tweak your card, I think it would cost you Oh no, you said never mind. I'm taking it back. You got to spend a calculate token. I was like, oh, you probably should spend a calculate token to do that. Nice.
Yeah, it's got to get the calculating mechanisms going to think, oh, I got to follow these protocols. Kill all cost.
Self-preservation protocol off.
Self-preservation overwritten. Must destroy.
That's all right. All right. What about you, Will?
Mine's a throwback to an era of a bygone era, or whatever they say. I'm going to be a gunner, probably on a K-wing, and my ability would be recover 1 shield if you attack. But if you do this for more than 40 minutes, you're required to lose the game and play Loop and Chewie instead.
All right. So this expansion comes with a Loop and Chewie like attached to it, right?
Yeah, this is the Loop and Chewie expansion. It just happens to have my card in it as well. You get the Falcon, you get all the little stormtroopers. You're set to go. I guess that would be a Falcon pilot then, or a Falcon gunner.
Nice. Okay. All right. Marcel, what about you? What kind of card are you going to be? Pilot, crew, gunner, something else?
I'm going to be a pilot. So,
all right.
So my card would be a pilot. It would be an Initiative 6 silencer with the ability choose violence. That's the name of the ability. It says, if you have no green tokens and you are in at least 2 enemy firing arcs, you may perform a red action. I would love this because you can then put the evasive blah, 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 whatever they're called.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
The new configuration, whatever it is. What is it?
Sensitive controls.
Sensitive controls, yeah.
Okay.
So you
the evasive blah, blah, blah. Sensitive
the blah,
controls.
blah, blah. So you
Definitely
basically
the
get
same
your... so you can either, with sensitive controls, you can either reposition, get your first action, move, reposition again, and still get your green token because you're choosing violence and you're not running away. Or you can, without it, you can just move, target lock, and let that token come at you. Because running away is for menace.
All right. I'm going to say that I'm going to be a crew card. Okay? Crew card, all factions. Dio Morales, all factions. Okay? Action. Another friendly ship, no range restrictions. Okay? Another friendly ship may perform an action, period. Then gain 2 stress tokens. All right? So it causes you double stress. You can coordinate yourself. Anybody, this is Dion. When I was trying to embody myself in what I do, is like, you know what?
Faction?
All the factions.
Okay, I mean it matters because there's a faction that clears all stress.
Oh,
Not
you're
much
right.
of a punishment.
All right.
Of course.
I have a sentence question. You said even yourself, but you said another ship.
No. So yeah, another friendly ship. You get the stress. The ship doing the coordinating. It's not a coordinate, but it's just coordinate, right? Gains the stress and another ship on the board. So that could be friendly or sorry, I must have misspoken when I said that. A friendly or an enemy ship can be given an action, and that's just because Dion loves everybody, and I want to do work for everybody. That's the best way I could encompass that. All right.
He's so stressed out for all the work he's trying to do for everyone, but everyone
exactly.
gets to benefit. Anyone gets to benefit.
That's right. Got to take on that stress. Like, you know what? I'll put it on my shoulders, and maybe we add an extra sentence where like that ship gets some type of like you may only ever lose 1 stress at a time. Something like that to prevent Corsella from working, or I don't know.
Or like at the end of the game, you tally up all the ships that get coordinated and put them in a raffle pool.
You play the card, you got to give your chips away.
Each time you get coordinated, it adds one raffle into that pilot's pool.
I like that. Oh man. I like that. Oh, that was great. That was a fun question. Now, there was also some people on our Discord who kind of did that for themselves as well. They were doing different, some pilots, some crew. So it's always fun. So here's my question for those of you who are watching live. Go ahead in the chat. Give us. Would you be a crew gunner? Let's just say a card with your name on it. All right, the U card. What would it be? Faction, ability. Let's go ahead and share. If you're watching on YouTube later, put it in the comments down below. If you're listening, let us know via Discord. It's always just fun to do that. I know that there is some strong opinions on custom card formats and leagues and all that. I'm usually not a huge fan, but it could be fun for like a one-off thing where we just get a bunch of ridiculous abilities on the board for a day. Could be fun. All right, before we sign out for today, any other things that we need to address that I'm forgetting?
Yeah. Are you hinting at something specific? Or is that actually
something on the
asking?
notes that I didn't read?
It's highlighted.
Oh, I have some things. I don't know if you're looking for something specific, Dion.
Well, I figured, yeah, that was.
You're segueing.
I was trying. I apparently failed.
not smooth enough, I guess. Anyways, I have some things. First thing is, I was doing a recruit survey. A couple people have already, well, a couple, actually a lot. A lot more than I thought. Of people who played in the recruit championship. I was putting together a survey, wanted to send it out to those people. So if you haven't played in the recruit survey, find me on Discord. I'm Killer Beard Hawk, and I am in our Discord, turns out. So just message me that you played in the recruit championship, and I'll get that survey sent out to you. Just trying to collect some information because that was an interesting event. We just want more details from it, I guess. Was the main thing. I do have another thing. Someone showed this to me. Dion, pull up that link on it and show the people. I don't have my OBS running to do so. But someone had showed me on the Tabletop Simulator Workshop, Bruno Puglisi. Don't ask me. I'm terrible at names.
Puglisi. That's my guess. Puglisi.
Exactly what I said.
Yes.
Anyways, they have made an X-wing score tracker. And I was shown it last week. And it is a fantastic way to calculate points during the game. You can upload it. Once you put it on the table, you just put your YASB URL into it, and it'll auto-generate the points, and you can, in real time, mark them destroyed. For a lot of people who don't want to tab back and forth between YASB and Tabletop Simulator, especially if you only have one screen, it's an amazing resource for both players to have those scores active right away without calculating it out, or like I said, tabbing over to YASB to see what your score is as well. So that's the X-Wing score tracker. Highly recommended, especially during tournaments.
I failed. I was like, oh, I see it on my screen. There it is.
Wow,
right
this
there.
is pretty cool. Yeah.
It's late.
Yeah.
I'm tired. I'm sorry. Okay.
No
so
worries.
click the subscribe button on your Steam, and it will get added into your into your list, and you add it as a additive load or something like that. Click on it, and it'll bring it up. It's fantastic. It's really great. And he's worked out. He showed me this when he first came out with it. He's done a lot of work with it, and it essentially goes through the XWS and pulls the points from there. So as long as the XWS points are right, you are good to go. That's awesome. Gold Squadron Podcast. Would y'all do a workshop on the mods that you all use? That's interesting. Like asking us, like, how do we tabletop simulator? I mean, mine is no secret. I literally my 99% of the time, my opportunities to play are when you guys see me play. That's about it. So what you see is what you get. There's no secrets there. Yeah, so I'm an open book. I'm no mystery. For you guys, that's likely different. I don't know if there's anything else you guys wanna
black holes.
Slide. Say it again.
I don't know where the black hole.
Yes.
I don't know where. I just have it. I don't know where it actually comes from.
The
But
deleters, so not everyone has to be promoted just to be able to delete anything or use the right click menu.
Yeah, it's just a fancy trash can essentially. But
I'll bring it up right now so people who are watching right now.
Okay.
The disco ball. I don't even know where I got that disco ball to begin with, but it is it makes losing fun. No, seriously, like you set the rule up front. You say every ship that gets destroyed has to go out dancing disco to the disco ball to Gloria Estefan Miami Sound Machine, and you can't be mad about losing while your ship is dancing to the magic black hole garbage can.
All right, here, let's go ahead and we'll load up the stream table because it has the black holes on it, and we will.
I think this has been already implemented into the TTS main mod now, but any struts and foils type configurations, once you flip the token, it actually has little animations for the ships now, like the X-Wings, wings closed, the B-Wings, wings closed, stuff like that. I think that's automatic these days, or any of them still not automatic and you have to load special versions?
They won't. The tokens that assign with your or come out with your ship, they don't flip with the card, but there is a workshop for that as well. Though I forget its name. I think it's just configs. I think it's literally just the name of it. X-Wing configs. Oh, double-sided configs. Excuse me. The double-sided configs can attach to your cards and your models, and will flip everything at once. So pretty cool.
All right. Well, this is what I opened up a room. Okay, open up a room, and you guys we'll just make it a. You guys can jump on the GSP table if you're on Tabletop Simulator right now, and if you need a black hole, you can go ahead and just copy one. All right, we got that available. There's a million of them on the table. There you go. You can pick up your black hole now if you'd like it. All right. Password is GSP. GSP. All right. There you go. You guys can jump on there now. Yeah, guys. You know what? What we haven't done in a while. How are you guys? Like, you guys feeling good? How is life? We just haven't. We've been all business lately, and all that. Ryan, how are you, man?
I'm doing well. Actually getting the opportunity to transition from my current studio to job or employer to another one because the project moved from one to the other, kind of. A little messier than that, but ended up working out well. should provide me, as long as they retain us past the contract is over, which they are planning to. The company we are joining was actually looking to expand in our area anyway, so bonus that just kind of fell into their lap. So 25% increase of salary per year. I'll take that.
Hey, woo, woo.
Planning a lot of updates to the house because of that. Sarah actually got a surprise raise at work too. So yeah,
All right.
And funny enough, I'm probably getting more money by leaving this company than I've ever gotten at one time, because of severance, because of PTO payout, because they said, hey, if you stay here until this project is done through us and not just leave right now, we'll give you a retention bonus. So we're preparing to use that money for everything we need around the house around here and stuff, and get ready for a future small addition to the family. Just preparing, you know.
That's awesome, man.
So
That's cool.
Yeah, life oddly enough is working out well, even though about 3 or 4 months ago when I got the news, when my company was like, yeah, we're not working with that client anymore, I was like, but my job. Luckily enough, so it seemed luckily enough that even though I am having this opportunity to transfer, I am much valued as a worker, so I would have been able to stay with the company. I've just been transferred to another project, but I probably wouldn't have gotten all the money.
All the pennies, yeah, man.
Yeah.
I get it. I get it.
So,
What about
me and Sarah are both excited after the past couple months of all that type of news has happened.
That's amazing. Amazing. What about you, Will? How you been, man?
Doing the best I can. Sometimes things get you down, but I did recently pay off my van that I got. Got rid of the old white GMC Safari.
No, it's gone.
Yeah, it's gone.
No!
Sorry. Don't worry though. I got replaced by an even bigger Ford van now. Still got that bench seat or the bed seat in the back. Captain's chairs. Oof, the sweet running lights along the back. Amazing. It has 175,000 less miles than my old van had.
Okay.
The quick math on that is that my old van had like over, I think I was pushing like 230,000 miles on my van. So she had a good run, but been working with my brother to fix up this new van. Not really fix up, it's in perfect condition. But it was kind of like a barn find, if that makes sense, of like, someone's like, oh, I can't get this thing running. But it didn't take us too long to get it back running again.
Nice.
So looking clean, I'm real excited about that. I'll show it to you in a second while Marcel's talking, but I did splurge when the stimulus came on. I don't normally buy, like this guy was a gift given to me, but I don't normally buy Star Wars things. I don't know if you guys are like that, to where like, if someone's like, here's a Darth Vader cookie jar, it says I'm your father when you open it. I'm like, ugh, well, I know why. But like some Star Wars things, like Star Wars everyday things, not cool. Like Star Wars things are cool. So I got, well, I'll just show it to you while Marcel's talking. But I'm pretty excited about it. It's real fun. You'll see. I'll go grab it.
Well, I think I'm with you right there, though. That I think my wife has spent more money on Star Wars stuff for me than I have since we've been married, besides X-Wing. It's the only other thing.
Yeah.
But like all the other Star Wars stuff I have, shirts, collectibles, everything, she's gifted it to me.
Yeah. I don't need like a Yoda gumball machine, and I don't need like
What?
Like, I don't need. Oh man, I don't know. There's all the Star Wars things. They're a bit unnecessary, but I appreciate the gifts. I'll still use them. It's just why do I have a Chewbacca themed blender or something like that? It's always some weird kitchen appliance with Star Wars slapped on it.
So
You don't have to-
are you
Dion,
telling
here?
me? Wait. Are you telling me that if I got you a GSP waffle
Well,
iron, you wouldn't use it?
Oh, does it have the GSP logo in it?
Oh, it's the helmet. Your pancakes are the helmet.
Oh, well, I'll use that. I mean,
Sorry,
I'll use
waffles,
that.
not pancakes. Excuse me.
See, Dion, you were thinking what I was thinking. I was like, does that mean we're just gonna all get Will Star Wars based gifts for his birthday or Christmas next year?
I'm pretty sure that's what's happening now.
That sounds the way to
We
go.
just find the weirdest.
be-
We just go like,
all Wookiee Chewbacca stuff, right? Just so it matches the cutout.
Love it.
There you go. All right. So, Marcel.
Marcel, what about you, man? How you been?
Yeah, been good. Been working from home, 2 jobs. Working from home, 2 jobs. Kayla also working from home. So we're doing good. We're enjoying ourselves. Actually, mentioned it last week. We're house hunting. We rent here, so we're looking for different places, and that's fun. That's actually it's stressful, but it's fun. It's fun looking at it, and then it's stressful like getting down to the nitty gritty of it all. And
Right.
we've seen a couple really good ones in this past weekend that we're excited about, and just the whole everything that comes with it, like just everything that comes with it, with like negotiating and figuring out like, okay, what's going to retain value and yada yada yada, and do we want view or do we want silence, or can we find view and silence? I love views. If you guys haven't figured it out by now, I love sitting down and just like taking it in. It's really calm, and it's like I like fish tanks as well. So just sit in front of a fish tank and just stare at it because it's peaceful. So that there's value in it for me. So yeah, we've been seeing some like lake view ones, like looking over the lake, looking over Navy Pier, and then we've gone to the suburbs to go see like, well, what if we only look at woods, and just go like the complete opposite to just woods, and so yeah, it's just been our life for the last maybe 3 weeks has been consumed with researching houses, looking at apartments, looking at condos. We saw a really good one a couple days ago in just outside of Navy Pier, but it's like a little secluded area in the middle of downtown where there's only one road in and one road out in the middle of downtown. It's a 48th floor building that looks over like the entire city. It's just pretty. What do they call it? Bougie? Pretty fancy. We're blessed. But then then we see the price tag. We're like, oh, how can we negotiate this now? So anyway, it's been a good time. It's been a stressful time at the same time though. It's hard. It is hard. It's not easy to house hunt, especially when people have different tastes.
Oh yeah.
That.
Oh yeah, well that's fine, man. It's always exciting whenever you're going up to a transition point, right? It's exciting and stressful. They are usually hand in hand.
And the best thing about the last few weeks, I've gotten to hug 2 of the 3 people on the screen. Ryan, you're not far behind, so it's
Soon.
coming.
I know. I'm waiting to hug.
So yeah, so it's been nice. I got to see Will a couple of weeks ago. He came down to Chicago. We hung out for a little while. Taught him the glorious Malort, for anybody who knows what Malort is, and got to see Dion a little bit ago. So Ryan, hopefully we get to see you too soon.
Well, in our GSP command center, we started talking like we know when Ryan's getting his second vaccine. We go for the fully vaccinated time, and then it's showdown. Like it's gonna happen. It's going down. right here.
April 22nd, dose number 2.
There it is. There. I didn't want to put out your information. You made that choice, okay?
Whatever.
They're gonna track you down, man. They're gonna take your vaccine. We don't want them to block you. We got to make sure you come. So that means like mid-May at the earliest, we could potentially be having a GSP showdown here in person, GSP Studios. But Marcel, we need this. I had an idea. Okay, I'm just gonna propose this live.
Throw it out.
All right.
Yep.
So what I thought could be cool for one of our Wednesdays or Saturdays, that probably Saturday, probably be better. That instead of doing a TTS thing, we can have something. I mean, Will, if you're available too, like whatever. But like we instead of doing it on TTS, we could have a weekend where we play a few games here in person and experiment with some stuff and just swap it out for because that table has not been seen yet. It hasn't made its debut. I still got some testing to do. But
I want to debut that table.
I know I'm down. I know I'm down, and I know.
We got to make sure it's all working.
Yeah, I know Kayla's been looking forward to play as well. She's
While you guys play, I'll be in the chat. Oh, I hope you guys are having fun over there. It'd be really cool if I could play too.
Yeah, like Brian, we'll make you part of it. You could run the stats.
I'll commentate.
All right, man. Here in Dion land, things are going good. I spent, as you guys know, or maybe you don't know, last Saturday we didn't have a stream because I was working. It was Mrs. GSP's birthday weekend, working on her office. It looks, chef's kiss. I'm just saying, I'm patting myself on the back. It looks really good. There was some holes in the walls that had to be repaired, some scuffed wood and stuff like that. It all looks really good. Everything's nicely painted. This week we'll start getting furniture in there and she will have a nice office. The only thing, unfortunately, was that the shelves she wanted for her office became sold out by the time the weekend came around, and we don't know when those will come in. So I did some kind of quickie repairs on the shelves we had in there before so that they don't like fall over or fall apart, because they actually were like, you take a book off and the shelf would fall. It was bad. But anyway, they're safe again. I also got some furniture for the scene behind me will slowly start changing. So I'm excited about that. I would say, there's a lot of things you guys don't know yet, but I've been working on a lot of things in the background for GSP that are just like, they're on the edge. There's so many things just like close for announcements, but can't quite show off things. And we've been talking about Paint Wars for a long time now because it's been going on, but there's just a lot of steps to that before we even debut it. But like, I will tell you right now, there is a stack of ships that are painted amazingly that I can't show you for months. Like, you cannot see them. I will not break, but they look amazing. Okay, and we got all these people under NDA and they're keeping it all hush hush. Though you can get yourself a Paint Wars t-shirt now if you'd like. Even though you have no idea what it is, you can get yourself a Paint Wars t-shirt. They're available now. But yeah. There's a lot of stuff going on, and I would say probably the hardest thing for me right now is because I do have my hands in so many things. I feel like sometimes I don't get back to people as quickly as I would like to, but that's just because a lot of people are asking for my attention, and sometimes, like, so for instance, this weekend I left my phone at home. I just didn't even, like, nope, sorry, Discord, I can't right now. And when I got back home, I think I responded. I think the only people who I responded to was Will, Ryan, and Marcel, and that's it. I was like, hey guys, this thing. Jonah had an emergency at one point. He's like, there's something on fire. I'm like, gotta solve it, man. We gotta figure it out. I'm busy. But yeah. Things are good. Got a couple, like, again, a lot of things on the cusp. That's all I'm going to say before I spoil something. I'm done. All right. Well, hopefully you guys had a good time today. And, sometimes it's important to remember that, we love X-Wing, but we're real people too. We got stuff going on. And hopefully that little bit of humanity, share it with us. We got, talk to us on Discord. Positive life choices, what's going on. By the way, positive life choices group people in that channel. I have an announcement coming for you in 3 weeks. But you got to give me 3 weeks. I need 3 weeks. Okay? Anyway, if that's it, we're going to call it for the night, everybody. I'm trying to see if there's anything else before I do the sign off so I don't have to interrupt myself.
Yeah.
What is that noise?
This is what I was talking about. It's got sounds. Check this out.
Oh, cool.
So can you hear that? I don't know if you can hear that.
Yeah, we can hear that.
Oh, man.
Yeah, it sounds like your dog is doing an Irish dance.
She doesn't like it.
Yeah.
She doesn't like it. I will strike you down.
Dog says, I will bite you more powerful than you can possibly.
All right, everybody.
Well, blaster bolts.
Stay smart. Stay safe. Gold Squadron out. Thank you to ISO, Danko, Baffle, Trojan, Prophet, Shadow, Tycho, Spice, Raider, and Lancer, our Grand Admiral patrons, and all of our Gold Squadron patrons and community members. Thank you so much for your support. Gold Squadron out.